everyone's associated with it, from obviously the guys protecting to the quarterback to the receiver timing to the play calls. We're constantly evaluating that and trying to put ourselves in the best position to be successful. Dallas did some really good stuff early and kind of got us behind the sticks in some long yardage situations. I think credit to Jaylen and so many of our guys to kind of hang in there and keep going, and we found our groove as it progressed. And so, now the focus is how can we address that quicker and get ourselves in a more comfortable rhythm, because those things will happen throughout the season. It's happened a few other times before, and usually we bounce back. That's the good thing about it.
Kellen, with some of the sacks, it seemed like there was a lot of time in the pocket. I don't know if that had to do with vision, but what did you make of kind of the length of some of those plays that led to sacks?
There's a lot of things that go into it. Certainly some of them are really long yardage circumstances. So the routes are naturally going to be a little bit further if we're trying to get it into potential conversion range. And so, everything goes into play, from the play call to the design to the routes. Obviously we had probably a few too many sacks than we anticipated and wanted, but, we'll continue to evaluate that.
Kellen, what is it? To follow up quick, and it could extend beyond sacks just to other plays. Jalen, the week before, talked about the vision that he didn't have thrown to Devontae. I don't want to make assumptions it might go beyond just height or whatever else, but as a coach yourself who's 6 foot, I think, whenever you were playing, how do you coach around vision, how it extends beyond just what quarterbacks see? How do you play to that?
Yeah, certainly vision's a big thing for all quarterbacks. I think really just about everyone, unless you're 6'6" plus. I mean, these linemen are all taller than you. That's just how it is. And so for every quarterback, there's always a vision awareness, and how can you navigate that? Because it's for every single quarterback. I don't think it's exclusive to just guys that are in the shorter range between starting quarterbacks. I think it's for every single guy. Every guy I've been around that, whether they're 6'3", 6'4", they still have vision. Stuff that sometimes you can't see everything from within the pocket, and that's natural. And I think for guys, it's always trying to navigate how can you find that vision, how can we help with the design of creating throwing lanes. And so it's a good question, but I think it goes to everyone, not just Jaylen, specifically here or anywhere. It's for every quarterback in this league.
Kellen, what has Fred Johnson showed you these last 4 games?
Just phenomenal consistency for a guy to pop in there, handle that role change, and to really do it in a really smooth manner. I think he did an excellent job. Him and Landon communicating on that side of the ball. I think those things are huge.
How valuable has it been these last few weeks? You guys have had big leads, been able to rest a lot of guys. For guys like Will Shipley, Anaya Smith, Johnny Wilson even, how valuable has it been for those guys to get in games and stuff?
Huge opportunities for those guys, because like any NFL season, we're going to need depth. We're going to need guys to come up and play in critical games, no different than any other team. And so for us to get that experience for those guys, I think is excellent.
What have they shown?
They've done a really nice job. I think we got a lot of depth on this team. We got a lot of guys who play somewhat smaller roles at times, and they're always ready to take on bigger roles. And so similar to discussing Fred, Fred getting in there, and then when his opportunity presents itself, awesome, he's ready to roll. Johnny goes out there and makes a big play in the scramble in the red zone. He's ready to roll. I thought Will's been in some challenging situations run game wise, where you're kind of in some ugly runs early, and for him to pop a few this past game, awesome for him. Gives him confidence, gives everyone confidence when he's out there at some point that he'll play a critical role as well.
Was the vision? Sorry. I'm curious about the vision. Just I know, without delving into secrets, I know this is proprietary, but how, in general, since it extends to lots of quarterbacks, how do you support vision? How do you play that into plays and routes and other things?
Yeah, so like you said, so many factors go into quarterback play, and so it's the protection, it's the play design, it's the at times trying to move the pocket. You're trying to create opportunities for them as much as we can, and so there's a lot of different ways that we protect. Whether there's help, from a tight end or a running back. There's free release to try and get guys out of the throwing lanes. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, and so I think we're constantly trying to mess with that and give them different tools and different circumstances to allow us to create those opportunities.
Did you guys identify the sunlight as an issue? For Jalen, it was.
The sun?
The sunlight wasn't an issue.
Yeah, in general for everyone. Yeah.
But okay, so
yeah, for everyone. I mean, I've been there. I was there a long time. So
yeah.
When you were calling the plays in Dallas, during the game.
Yeah, the sun, obviously, like any stadiums, all have different circumstances. That one, obviously, the sun plays a decent role. And so you just have to call plays according to it, knowing, certain parts of the field at times can be a little bit challenging. And so we had it in the first quarter, towards the end of the first quarter in the red zone, and then second quarter, obviously, we were going the other way. So
What has Bobby Wagner brought to the Commanders' defense, would you say?
you can just see, like, he runs the show. It's really, really impressive. You can see him just complete command of the defense, running, operating, playing really like a quarterback for that whole group, allowing them to get in and out of different looks and different adjustments. He's obviously one of the best linebackers to ever play in this league, and he's still playing at a really high level.
The background you have with Quinn and Joe Witt, and they have with you, how does that factor into the chess match this week?
Similar to playing Dallas last week. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of familiarity. There's overlap as you go through this coaching profession, and so spent a lot of time around Dan and Joe, and so they're excellent coaches. They're some of the best, and so obviously we have familiarity with some of the stuff we did in Dallas structurally, and so it'll be fun. It'll be just like last week. There'll be a lot of familiarity, and we'll just go play.
How much trust does that ball to Jahan take from Jalen?
Big time trust, big time execution. I think it shows, Jahan, obviously we all would love every guy to get a whole bunch of catches every game because we think the world of all these guys, and for him to hang in there and then make 2 big time catches each one the last 2 weeks, I think owes to, his consistency and his willingness to keep putting in the work, and Jalen's trust and letting it go, and we'll continue to have those opportunities for him.
Outside of Wagner, what else is popping on the defensive tape for Washington?
Certainly the D-line. I mean, obviously they got excellent push, excellent effort. They get to the quarterback. I think on the back end they're really, really aggressive. They do an excellent job of playing aggressive on the receivers, and so I think they've done a nice job of diversifying just their different coverage looks. They give you just enough flavor that make you work pre-snap and post-snap, and so they'll do an excellent job. They'll make it hard on us.
Just in general, from the short week perspective, game planning, does it have to be more generic than specific in these types of weeks?
Sometimes there's carryover opportunities, certainly from 1 week to the other, and so sometimes you have maybe a little bit more this past week or two that can roll over into this week, knowing and anticipating what this week is, which is very fast, very short, a lot of walkthroughs. But you're still going to have to game plan a specific opponent, so there's going to have to be some plays in there that maybe fall back from previous weeks or fell into a different game plan that just hasn't hit yet, and so our guys are preparing in a very reduced way, very similar to how they always do.
Okay, thanks, guys.